Chapter century after entering Dark City, Chris and his team first brought the Demon Bear's corpse to the Adventurers Guild to submit their mission. The massive corpse appeared in the guild hall, drawing the attention of other adventurers who gathered around. Intrigued, Chris, is this the magical beast you guys caught? Your strength has reached this level already. There are traces of magic. Erin, was this your doing? No, Erin quickly waved her hands in denial. It was an elf passing by who saved us. The guild staff inspected the beast, confirmed it, and settled the mission, promptly paying the team their reward. The coins were packed in a small, heavy bag. The team member managing finances counted them and smiled with satisfaction. Nice. This money will keep us fed through the winter without worry. The group let out a collective walk, their faces beaming with joy. Even as adventurers, they didn't want to fight magical beasts every day. Plus, in winter, even with warming charms, staying outside the city was uncomfortable, and tracking beasts was harder. Having just survived a dangerous battle, the group calmed down, and the mention of food triggered a chorus of stomach growls, starting with one large RRR. Chris suggested, how about we go back and have hot pot? I stocked up on hot pot base and bought lots of meatballs yesterday. In the cold, hot pot ingredients were easy to store without spoiling, lasting for days. Erin immediately countered. After such a tough fight with that beast and finally completing the mission, we should go to Levi's restaurant. I heard they added no dishes yesterday. The proposal was met with unanimous agreement. Levi's restaurant was on the shopping street, not far from the supermarket. Laughing and chatting, the group headed toward the shopping street. From a distance, they soon spotted the odd green plant at the supermarket entrance and a familiar figure standing there. The elf Mazerno, who had parted ways with them after entering the city. Mr. Yelef. Mazerno's ears twitched, and he turned to look at them. Chris and the others hurried over, apologetic. We forgot to tell you, the supermarket only opens in the morning. It is already afternoon, so you'll have to come back tomorrow too. Huh? As they approached, they saw the sign at the entrance. Chris and his companions let out a collective wail. Closed for 5 days. What? It was open when I came yesterday. No way. I just finished my wine, and now I have to go 5 days without the supermarket as liquor. Mazerno. So, he'd have to wait another 5 days to spar with the mage named John Lee. The silver-haired elf pursed his lips, feeling a bit displeased. Mazerno looked up, studying the unremarkable shop from the outside. It seemed ordinary, but faint traces of magical elements lingered in the air nearby. Spatial magic, teleportation magic, a masterpiece by a master mage. Mazerno extended his magic to trace the residual elements, hoping to locate the caster. Moments later, he withdrew his hand, disappointed. The caster had covered their tracks well. Even someone as powerful as him couldn't pinpoint the other end of the teleportation magic or track John Lee as whereabouts. Unable to find John Lee directly, he could only wait patiently for the 5 days to pass until John Lee returned. Mazerno's gaze fell on the succulent plant nearby, a strange plant. As an elf, naturally attuned to plants, he placed his palm on it. The succulent trembled excitedly, its plump leaves rustling as they eagerly pressed toward his hand. But it wasn't a magical plant, just an ordinary succulent grown with magic. The silver-haired elf communed with it for a while, sensing only its joy and affection, hearing nothing but garbled, incoherent sounds. Mazerno glanced again at the shop enveloped in magical elements, a faint anticipation in his emerald eyes. If the one who cast spatial and teleportation magic here was Jomly, they must be strong, right? Could they be the worthy opponent he sought? Looking at the sign, Mozerno thought 5 days from now, he did return. The silver-haired elf turned and left without lingering, pulling up his hood and striding toward the city gate. Chris and his companions exchanged glances, and Chris called out, "Mr. ELF, where are you headed?" Mozerno replied, "Out of the city, this late." Chris glanced at the sky. After taking the mission, hunting the beast, and returning, it was nearly dusk. The horizon glowed orange with the sunset, while the other half of the sky was gray blue, stars twinkling, and the moon hung overhead. As evening approached, the city gates would soon close, and even the shops on the street were starting to shutter. Mozerno said, "I have no money, huh? I can't afford an inn." The elf's stomach suddenly let out a long growl. He paused, then continued calmly, "Sleeping on the streets would get me arrested by the patrols." Chris and his companions, why did he sound so practiced? Like he did done this before. Chris didn't dwell on it. Seeing the elf about to leave, he quickly said, "If you don't mind, you can stay at our place." Mozerno paused. "Your place?" We rented a house in Dark City. It has not a fancy mansion, but it is better than camping outside in the cold." Chris looked at his companions, who nodded in agreement. He continued, "If it weren't for your help today, I'd have been eaten by that bear. We haven't even thanked you for saving us, if you're really okay with it. Besides, we only caught the bear because of you," a teammate added hurriedly. "The 5 of us couldn't have handled it. We got a good reward for the mission. We could give you the reward, and you could stay at an inn. After all, the elf had killed the beast, and they did only take it because he didn't want it. Giving up the reward was no big deal, having been saved twice. They couldn't just watch their savior sleep in the wild." The elf didn't agree immediately, seeming to consider it, but his stomach growled again. "Mozerno," Erin suggested, "or we could treat you to dinner." Food was scarce in the winter forest. Mozerno turned, his emerald eyes scanning their kind faces. After a moment, he lowered his gaze. "Sorry for the trouble." Chris and the others sighed in relief. They continued to leave as restaurant as planned. Now with the silver-haired elf in tow, the sky hadn't fully darkened, but Levi's restaurant was already packed, buzzing with voices and the aroma of food. Warm yellow candlelight illuminated the place. Chris's group was lucky to find an empty table. The silver-haired elf's appearance drew many curious glances. Elves were reclusive, rarely seen in human cities, and for many in Dark City, this was their first time seeing one. Chris handed the menu to Mozerno. "This is the best restaurant in Dark City. Order whatever you like. There is food here you can't find anywhere else." Mozerno didn't take it, saying coolly, "Just a vegetable stew, just that, nothing else?" "Yes." Smelling the food in the air, Mozerno could tell the ingredients included various beast meats. Elves were strict vegetarians, avoiding all meat and animal products, and human menus often contained some form of animal-derived ingredients, none of which suited an elf's diet. Chris and his companions exchanged looks but didn't press, ordering their usual favorite dishes from Jomly's recipes. They also got a large serving of wet rice. "It is winter. How do you manage food when you're out there?" Chris asked curiously. "Under the snow, plants were dormant. If they were camping, they did hunt beasts for food, but beasts weren't on an elf's menu," Mozerno said. "I carry seeds." The elf showed a small pouch of seeds. "When needed, I can use magic to grow them for food." Under the group's stunned gazes, the silver-haired elf quietly tucked the pouch away. Fruits and vegetables could be eaten raw. He didn't take care much for taste, focusing instead on magical mastery. After achieving some success, he left the elven forest to find a worthy opponent. Food was just for sustenance. In an elf's long life, even the tastiest produce grew tiresome over time. I was wondering who ordered the vegetable stew. Levi, the restaurant owner, personally brought the dishes. Turns out we have a rare guest. Since John Lee shared his recipes, Levi's restaurant had become a hub for Chinese cuisine. Customers always ordered the new dishes, and the old specialties were rarely requested. Setting down the stool, Levi placed a plate of crisp stir-fried potato strips and warmly invited, "Since you're in Dark City, how can you miss our signature dishes? These are unique to our city." Mazzarno cut the aroma nearby. He recognized the golden strips as potatoes, emitting an unfamiliar fragrance. He'd never known potatoes could be prepared this way. Though unsure of the method, under the firelight, the potato strips glistened with oil. It was a dish cooked with oil. Humans often used animal fat for cooking. Mazzarno said coldly. "I can't eat it," Chris explained. "Elves don't eat meat." "No worries." Levi smiled confidently. "We use plant-based oil from the supermarket.